What's up, dudes? It's Lil Noodle Boy here with a review of studio album Government Plates by Death Grips released in 2013. Now, if you know anything about me, you would know that I'm a sucker for Death Grips and their music, so prepare to be enlightened. I would also like to shout out my boy Matthew Roxas for suggesting that I review this album. So without further ado, let's get it. The first thing to note about Government Plates is that it is Death Grips' least critically acclaimed album, but don't let that faze you, because Government Plates still has plenty of great material. Compared to Death Grips' previous and future material, Government Plates is sonically the least abrasive out of all of their works, but I would argue is still less accessible than The Money Store because of how esoteric some of the tracks on the album are. When listening to Government Plates for the first time, you'll notice that the first few songs of the album go hard. That's because they do. The opening track with the ridiculous title, "You Might Think He Loves You For Your Money, But I Know What He Really Loves You For, It's Your Brand New Leopard Skin Pillbox Hat," is one of Death Grips' most intense, most anxiety and rush-inducing songs ever. It doesn't quite sound like the rest of Government Plates due to how fast-paced and blaringly loud it is, but it's fire as hell. The next track, and BONNY, is what peak Government Plates sounds like. On this track, we can hear the best parts of Ride's performances combined with the diverse production that features great aggressive and ethereal sections. Listening to this song makes you realize that the concept of a Death Grips diss track is powerful enough to instill fear in most world leaders. If the entire album were similar quality as song, I dare say that this album could contest with the bigger Death Grips albums like The Money Store or Bottomless Pit. From this point on in the album, Ride mostly takes a backseat during the songs, which is what critics of the album say detract from it being on the same level as the rest of Death Grips' discography. To Heavens, however, is a good example of Ride's more laid-back delivery working to the advantage of the song. The instrumental on the song isn't ear-wrecking like a lot of their discography, but it's still punchy and catchy enough that I could see a casual listener turning up to this. Hearing the chant of, "I'm on my way, pressing down on the pillow till I can't hear you breathing, for no reason," makes me feel some type of way. After these first three tracks, things sadly go downhill. The songs here follow similar structure and production style, but with less catchy production and even less presence of Ride. Certain songs like "This Is Violence Now," "Feels Like a Wheel," and "Bootleg" literally feature one or two lines that repeat throughout without much variance, and instrumental, which place them as some of my least favorite material from Death Grips. "Bootleg" specifically has to be my least favorite Death Grips song, and the only Death Grips song I genuinely dislike, because the vocals are annoying, the lyricism is frankly non-existent, and the goddamn instrumental breakdown features what sounds like a train whistle having sex with a defunct computer. I understand that turns some people on, but it's not for me. On the topic of these vocals being annoying, a large portion of Government Plates features vocals ran through various pitch filters that make me unsure if it's even Ride doing the vocals. It wouldn't be an issue for me if it sounded good, but it doesn't. For that reason, songs like "Big House" and "I'm Overflow" are personally better than those other songs because they feature actually hitting performances from Ride combined with more exciting and catchier instrumentation. I can't hate on Government Plates too much though, because there are two more tracks on this album that I really like. "Birds" is Death Grips' most unique song and one that I find overrated but still very good. "Birds" actually features famous actor Robert Pattinson playing the guitar for Death Grips, which is a nice touch. What makes this song stand out is how abstract and minimalistic it is. Ride doesn't do any yelling and just sounds very bored instead of angry, which, despite it sounding like a terrible idea, actually really works for him. Instrumentally, the song is very passive without very much drumming and no melodies besides a guitar and an occasional synthesizer. Hearing Ride say, "Fuck you," emotionlessly before the guitar chords start playing is pretty surreal. The entire song is surreal, which is what makes it good. "Whatever I Want" is the longest song on the album by a significant margin, but also features a complete song structure with good verses from Ride and diverse production, including a groovy, fast-paced section for the kids to dance to, quiet but simultaneously deafeningly loud ambient section that makes you feel like lying down and looking at the stars, and some cool percussion interludes. Overall, I feel that this album is a mixed bag. It contains some of Death Grips' worst material, but also some of their best, and had a really interesting direction going into it. However, the half-baked nature of a lot of these tracks do set them back in the Death Grips ranking. That being said, Death Grips' worst, with the exception of Bootleg, because I hate Bootleg, isn't really that bad at all. So, I still enjoyed this album pretty thoroughly, and I'll still bump the hell out of "You Might Think He Loves You For Your Money, But I Know What He Really Loves You For, It's Your Brand New Leopard Skin Pillbox Hat," and "BONNY," and "To Heavens." I'm feeling a light to decent 7. Transition. Have you given this album a listen? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe, and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well when you sub, and yeah, that's it. Lil Noodle Boy, Death Grips, Government Plates, forever.